Good morning. I'm late because I forgot what day it was. I was out sick yesterday, so between that and the weekend it threw me off, and then all of a sudden it hit me what I was supposed to be doing. So I'm outside again. I have 6 puppies running around and it's about to storm, so don't be surprised if my camera takes a dive while I'm still talking. They are, of course, all around me trying to get to my toes so they can be little land sharks. So hopefully they'll quit that. So today I want to talk about intake triage and how surrenders are decided and how we take our animals in. I know from the outside it can look and feel like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense maybe. I know that some people really get it in their heads that we're like, you know, there's some list, and there used to be a list. I got rid of it. You can't live on a list. So when you put in an owner surrender form, if we don't take those animals right away, we do use them to go back through when we have space. I'll be honest with you, we don't necessarily go straight in order. We go with who needs the most. And, you know, that changes. I can't even say daily because it can change in a day. So, for instance, Silas last week that I posted on Friday, we had no intentions of taking that dog in. We were going to do his assessment, and when we had a kennel open, we were going to take him. But none of us, once we saw him, could not keep him because he was clearly in need of us to figure out what was going on with him. So, you know, we made our lives more difficult by squeezing another one in, and that is what that is. It's not that we suddenly had a kennel. We had to get creative. We had to figure out how to rearrange things. And I know that some people might think, well, why don't you just do that all the time? Well, if we did that for every animal that we were asked to take, we would be so overrun within weeks that we would be just a mess. The animals would not get what they needed at the way that they should. The dogs wouldn't have the time to get out of their kennels the way they should. The cats wouldn't get their individual attention, you know. There's a lot that comes with getting overwhelmed. Sure, I could stack them up to the ceiling in different rooms, right? But how am I going to make sure they get cleaned and walked and taken out? And a kennel, a crate, is not the same as our kennels. And that's another thing that people kind of interchange, don't they? A kennel for us is the bigger part where they can actually walk around, turn, play, things like that. A crate, they literally can walk in, turn around, lay down, that's it. There's no room for playing. There's no room for moving around. There's no room for having to go to the bathroom in one corner and get away from it, right? So that's not the way we want to do it. So we do have to triage, same as an emergency room does. We have to go with, you know, if we have 20 in front of us, we got to triage on what we have space for, what we can take care of, and what we can reasonably help. You know, we might be ready to call a couple of owner surrenders and say, hey, we're ready for you to come in. And the humane agent goes out on a call and calls us and says, I got to bring these 4 dogs in. They're in crappy shape. Like we can't leave them here, or there's no owner here, right? So they've been abandoned. We have to bring them in. So now we're not calling those owner surrenders. As much as an owner might need to rehome their animal, unfortunately, they still have someone to speak for them. They still have someone to take care of them. But when we hit those animals that don't, we have to prioritize those. Now with cats, man, that gets real tricky. Because here's the thing. People would assume then that all we take in is community cats and they get priority over owned cats. They actually don't. Kittens, underage kittens, they do get priority. Especially if there's no mom to take care of them, no mom to protect them, right? So we do have to try and take those in as much as possible. Even the younger kittens, maybe up to 12 weeks or so. But actually, after 3 months, some of those outside kittens don't want to be held, don't want to be inside. And cats have that option of just being altered and putting back outside. Dogs can't do that. And I listened to a wonderful podcast the other day about that, right? Where people had actually suggested, why don't we do TNR basically with dogs? And we're like, are you serious? You cannot have 50, 60, 80, 40-pound dogs running around town, even if they are altered. They're not the same as cats, you know? I mean, for a cat to kill you, you're going to have to lay still and let them do it. But you don't with a dog. And when a dog becomes feral, they pack up, and now you've got 4 or 5 of those 60-pound dogs. And that's very dangerous. And again, you don't see 20 cats packed up, tracking people down and knocking them down and attacking them, right? It's not the same thing. Yes, they do make a disaster of a mess. And I will tell you, a feral mama cat trying to protect her babies is very scary. Absolutely. I had one in my old garage, and you could not open the door without her like trying to attack you. I mean, it was scary for sure. But I was not in danger of my life. So, different story. So why do we take owned cats over adult outside cats? 2 reasons. One, an owned cat who's lived inside all of its life can't fend for itself outside. They don't know. Children, there's plenty of toys. Share. Like having toddlers around. Hey! Then you've got the outside adult cats who don't always want to live inside, or they don't want to be that cute, cuddly cat that people want. And they have enough street smarts to take care of themselves. Maybe not the way that you think that all cats should be taken care of, but an owned adult cat outside versus a street cat outside, trust me, that street cat's going to fare way better than that owned cat. So it's a constant back and forth, right? So, you know, we have this owned cat that needs somewhere to go, and we're ready to take it, and then bam, an injured cat shows up that cannot fend for itself, that either needs to be euthanized to be out of its misery, or it needs to be treated because it can't stay like this, right? So now we're going to pick this one. And then the next time that answer comes up, or that question comes up, we're going to go here, and then it's going to be 5-week-old kittens outside. Now, if I can get a foster for these 5-week-old kittens, because that's the only way I can take them, and I have space in the shelter, then I can take both. But that's what we do. We juggle constantly. And we can't, cats, God love you people who love cats, because working with them has not helped me. I was a cat person when I was younger, but working with them now, wow, cats are so sensitive. You get too many cats, they get sick. You get a temperature change too quick, they get sick. The breeze goes the wrong way, they get sick. I mean, it's crazy. Also, there is not a lot out there as far as testing for cats. You can test for Pan-Luke, FELV, and FIV, and I believe there is an FIP test, but it's like $250 and takes 2 weeks to get back. And a lot of times if they have it, the cat has already passed before you even get the results. And $250 a test is not affordable, right? It's not affordable. And FIP also has 6 versions. Yay us. Trying to think of what else. Like, there's no test for the bird flu. Selena probably could help me out with this, but there's not a lot out there for cats. They don't even know how to, if your cat would get tested for heartworms and it has heartworms, there's not a treatment for it. Because nobody spent the money on the research to figure it out. Which I find kind of sad, because I would think it wouldn't be too far from what dogs get, but I don't know. But yeah, so we get too many cats, too many kittens, too many adults, stress levels go up, they get sick, nobody wants to adopt them, we're at a standstill. What do we do, right? And there's a lot of cats and kittens that we can't, like, we don't take in underage kittens, bottle babies, ones that need to be watched all the time, into the shelter because people are not there enough to take care of them. And that wouldn't be correct for us to do. Now, you might say, well, it's not correct for us to turn them away, but we don't have another answer. If we don't have anywhere to put them, what are we supposed to do with them? And the only humane answer is not an answer anybody wants. It's that answer that we all dance around, right? And there are places who take in kittens that can't be adopted, and like they don't have anywhere for them to go, and they just take them in the back and they euthanize them. Well, first of all, we don't have that ability. We don't have a vet on staff. We don't have the ability to euthanize in-house. So we would have to wait until we could get them to a vet. And again, nobody wants that sadness, right? So turning them away, I don't know if it's better, but I don't know the answer, and no one else does either. As far as the cat problem goes, so many people spend so much time on this problem all the time trying to figure out what we do, how do we fix it. It's already been proven that taking a big group of cats and euthanizing them to get rid of them doesn't work. The storm is definitely coming because it creates a vacuum where cats from other areas go, hey, that place is empty of cats, let's go over there. And now you're right back where you started. And euthanizing is not cheap. At this point, it's as much, if not more expensive to euthanize and dispose of the body than it is to fix them, which is kind of a new thing, but that's pretty much where we've come. So, if we can just fix them and, let them continue to roam around, and maybe at some point they find their person or they find their spot. Again, if anybody has the magic answer to the cat problem that hasn't already been tried and failed, we would love to hear it. It's one of those things that, a lot of people they think they understand till we start going through everything, and then they go, oh yeah, I see the problem. Another big answer is just get a bigger facility so we can house more animals. That means more employees. That means more money needs to be donated to pay for said employees. Even at our low cost, the low pay that we pay, you're still talking about $20,000 a year per person. So 20 more cats is at least one more person, if not more, because you got to remember we got to take care of them 7 days a week. So one person cannot cover 7 days, so it's going to be 2 people. It's going to be at least a full-timer and a part-timer. So $30,000 a year to take care of 20 more cats and you at a time. And you also have to keep in mind that every cat costs us twice as much as we adopted out for. So now you have that expense as well. So trust me, that is not the answer. We can do a lot more with that money by just altering animals than bringing more people in. And then also housing them. That means another more room, more space. You got to heat, cool, take care of, build. Building is ridiculous right now. Maybe always has been, but I'm learning this. So we're always triaging what we have space for, where the animal is at, and what we have the capacity to do, whether that be by staffing. Like right now we have a person who's on severe light duty. She was a full-time person. Now she's on severe light duty. That has really cut us down. So we're basically down a person. And that means then if we're like, say we have somebody out on surgery or whatnot, I don't know, that could change our ability as well. But we do go back through the ones that have already been sent to us. And we do go back and ask once we get to that point. Do we always get to everybody? We don't, especially for cats. And we definitely usually don't get to you in time. It's, in the winter, from like November, December, and on until like February, the cats are usually holed up. So we can usually take cats in a lot faster. And actually, you might see us actually ask for cats. But unfortunately, kitten season doesn't spread out. Kitten season goes from March or April until October or November. And if it's a very light winter and we don't start getting cold snaps until like in December, beginning of January, kitten season will continue. We had one year where the winter was so light, we never really had a break from kitten season at all. And of course, by the time the break comes for us, it's all 6-month-olds, 7-month-olds, 1-year-olds, right? And then people can't find a kitten anywhere. So, we wish we could like stretch things out and kind of be like, could you just maybe smooth things out a little, kind of make it easier for us? But it's insanity for like 10 months, and then you go a little bit of a break for 2 months. Now dogs are all year round. That doesn't change. So yeah, I guess that's about all I can say is it's triage all the time. It depends on the day, the hour, the moment, and all the other things that you cannot see that are going on around us. All the surrender forms we had before you, or the humane agent cases that we're watching and waiting to see if we're going to have to take them. These true emergencies. And man, with cats, that gets that even changes. At one point, a broken leg might be an emergency, and then later, that's not even high enough to be an emergency. And that sounds really bad, but it does happen where they've got bigger problems than a broken leg. And most of the time with cats, there's just not much to do with that broken leg. And a lot of them, we give them rest, and eventually they come out of it. And it like heals on its own. Cats are ridiculously resilient. So, but yeah, even that sounds really harsh, right? When we have to turn away a cat with a broken leg. But if all we're getting asked to take are cats with bulging eyes that are about to pop out of their heads, or big open wounds, etc., those have to come first before even a break that hasn't broken through the skin, no infections, things like that. We see some crazy stuff that we don't always share with you because it's gross and crazy. Yeah. So we're never trying to ignore you. Most people will tell you we're pretty responsive to everything. And if I'm more than 2 or 3 days late and getting to somebody, I'm apologizing. But life happens. I was sick yesterday, so I didn't do nothing. But anyways, I'm gonna get off here before the storm fully hits and I lose my internet. But hopefully that answers some questions. I wish I could tell you that when you put in a surrender form, there's an exact day and time that we will be able to take that animal every single time. But we cannot. We get asked to take owner surrenders 10, 20 times a day. When I first started, it was only cats. Most dogs we could take in right away. Now it's everything. It's just everything. So, be patient with us. We do try really hard. All right, hopefully the storm doesn't ruin anything and no trees fall.